सागर इथेच ठेवू का?
be seated. We will begin the ceremony shortly. How do we know when to start how do we know? Testing?
Okay, working.
Should we start? Is it working?
I don't know. Oh yeah, it's working.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the UWC Wait, what? She said yes. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the graduation ceremony of the United Mahindra College Class of 2019. Woo!
That's really stressful. So, I'm Kenzan, I'm from Morocco.
And I'm Aditya from India, and we are the first year hosts of this college class of 2019, of this afternoon. Today we are celebrating the graduation of these incredible young people from 50 different countries.
This graduation is extra special because for the first time our graduation speaker is a Miyuki alumna. With us today we have Ravina Rashid an Al Jazeera journalist from the Maldives who is the recipient of the 2017 Index of Censorship Freedom of Expression Award. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
I would...
Oh my God.
I now would like to invite our special guest to light the ceremonial lamp. What's that? A traditional Indian way of commencing auspicious occasions. In addition to Ms. Rashid, we would like to invite our head of college, Ms. Soraya Syed Hassan, and our national committee representative, Gauri Bhure, head of UWC India.
Woo! Woo! Should I say?
Yeah.
All right. While the lamp is being lit, we will be entertained by a performance by our very talented second years, Samya from Lucknow and Shivika from Gurgaon. Okay, I think we can go. We can go. We can go.
Yeah.
Each day I live, I want to be a day to give the best of me. I'm only one, but not alone. My finest day is yet unknown. I broke my heart, fought every game to taste the sweet. I face the pain, I rise and fall, yet through it all, this much remains. I want one moment in time, when I'm more than I thought I could be, when all of my dreams are a heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me. Give me one moment in time, when I'm racing with destiny. Then in that one moment of time, I will feel eternity. Live to be the very best. I want it all, no time for less. I've laid the plans, now lay the chance here in my hands. Give me one moment in time, when I'm more than I thought I could be, when all of my dreams are a heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me. Give me one moment in time, when I'm racing with destiny. Then in that one moment of time, I will feel eternity. Oh, you're a winner for a lifetime. If you seize that one moment in time, make it shine. Give me one moment in time, when I'm more than I thought I could be, when all of my dreams are a heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me. Give me one moment in time, when I'm racing with destiny. Then in that one moment of time, I will be free. Oh, I will be free.
thank you so much for this beautiful performance. That was really beautiful. Can I please invite our special guest to come on stage before continuing? Can you come on stage? Yeah, all of you. Woo! All right. So friends and family, members of the second year batch are here with us today. They have undertaken long and tiring journeys to be with us and make this day incredible. Let's give them a big round of applause. I would also like to use this moment to say hi to all the people who are watching this event through live stream.
Let us also give a big round of applause to the incredible faculty of the Mahindra College who have been our friends, philosophers, guides, and sometimes parents for the last years. Thank you so much for being here and supporting us and our wonderful second years.
I would now like to introduce Soraya, our head of college. Soraya has 20 years of experience in education and has worn many hats at MUKI, including teacher of English and French, head of academics, and deputy head of college. Please welcome her in her first address this year as our head of college.
Good afternoon and welcome to the graduation ceremony of MUKI's graduating class of 2019. Those of you who are seeing a puzzled expression on my face is that I don't actually know what the sequencing here because it's entirely student run and absolutely in line with what MUKI does and how MUKI does it. So really I'm just kind of going through this as you are. So thank you Kenza and Aditya for taking over today and making sure things go smoothly. I would like today to extend a special welcome to the two people on the stage with me, Gauri Bure, head of the Indian National Committee, and our chief guest, Zahina Rashid, MUKI alum of the class 2006. I would also like to thank all the faculty and staff who are here to be part of this important day in the MUKI calendar. To the family and friends of the graduating students, we are delighted you could join us today, and I hope you managed to find seats. First years, please look up and see if you can give up your seat to any of our guests, as this is officially the beginning of your journey as rising second years, when you begin to shoulder some of the responsibility as caretakers and hosts of our college. So this is an important day for our first years as well as our second years. Graduates, welcome to your graduation ceremony. The long-awaited day when you can finally shrug free of the constraints of exams and assessments, and it looks like there may actually be more to life than finding a cool spot in which to study. I wish to congratulate you on successfully completing 2 years at MUKI. I'm sure that when you think back to 2 years ago, you could not have imagined then the kinds of friendships you've made during your time here, the experiences you have had, and the memories with which you will leave tomorrow. When I say this, I do not mean it to be taken in a way that suggests that the last 2 years have been filled only with joy and happy moments. I would like to recognize that choosing to spend your last 2 years of schooling in a UWC is certainly not a soft option. For many of you, this has meant leaving the comfort of your homes, the support of your families, and the familiarity of your cultural contexts to intentionally embark on a unique learning journey and a voyage of self-discovery. This has been fraught with anxieties and challenges which you have overcome to sit here today. And I commend you for that. And I thank your parents and loved ones for the trust they have placed in us by sending you on this adventure. This is an important time for students who are choosing a UWC education and who are also being selected for one. A UWC education is more than ever relevant in a world where the selfish pursuit of individual success is leaving less and less room for collective enterprise. And I would like to maybe come back to this as I keep talking, because I do think that while you may have ended what seems to be a difficult journey in many ways, what's ahead is also going to be challenging. But I think everybody in this room is here to wish you success and to show that we have faith that you can do this. National committees across more than 160 countries work tirelessly to select students to send to 17 UWC colleges. And the movement exists because donors and sponsors make it possible for colleges to continue to increase the diversity of our student population and to make an international education accessible to young people all over the world, irrespective of their socioeconomic status. That's a really important element of the UWC mission, and I think the reason that most of us as educators elect to work in UWC colleges. It's because we firmly believe that education should be accessible to all. There is a lot of work going on backstage before we can celebrate each year the graduation of so many UWC students. Right now, I know that there are other colleges within the movement who are also celebrating graduation day, and others will be celebrating it later in the year. And that means that there's a whole sort of cohort of UWC graduates going out into the world. What this means for you will probably get defined as you go through your journey. We don't believe that you either come here with the answers or leave at the end of the 2 years with a very clear idea of what that means. But we do hope that the 2-year journey you've had here is an ongoing learning process. And if we've taught you nothing else, we hope that we've taught you that learning is itself a goal. When you speak to educators who choose to work at UWC, at United World Colleges, it is precisely our mission that attracts these very special faculty. We form a learning community where adults and students learn from each other. And often the most important lessons happen in residential spaces or on train journeys during experiential learning weeks, or during random conversations in the CAF. It is the attitude of learning that we seek to develop in you, and we really hope that you take this with you. This last year at MUCI has been an exciting one, with important conversations that have at times given the impression that the campus is divided or fragmented. This is normal on a campus where there are diverse perspectives and people with different viewpoints are empowered to share them. I hope you remember this in the communities that you now go forward to join, because you will be the people who actually give voice to those who don't have voice. True learning often comes through discomfort, because that is when real thinking occurs, and informed opinions become crystallized. I'm sure many parents sitting here have been subjected to very uncomfortable conversations that your children have had with you since they joined MUCI. I sympathize, and I am sure that you have managed them. Maybe you've occasionally said, we'll talk about this later. And I think that this is something that we would like as parents to be encouraging our children to do, to actually come up with those difficult questions and create discomfort. As I wish you success in the next stage of your journey, class of 2019, I urge you therefore to seek discomfort in a world where people are more and more wanting to protect their interests and their comfortable place. I encourage you to pursue your personal growth in all that you encounter, and even though I know this is not an easy path, it is the one which is the most satisfying and truest to our ideals as UWC colleges. Recently, when I was visiting some of our alum in the UK. It was a really energizing experience to speak to students that I had taught and had been here during the time since I joined, and to see what they are doing at their universities, at their colleges. They're not happy, but they're not happy for good reason. They're not going to put up with just anything that's dished out to them. They're going to question, they're going to ask why, and that is exactly what we want you to be doing. They are also informed. They understand things, and then they engage with them. And one of the things which I heard most often from some of those students was, but I'm so tired of always being the one who actually puts my hand up and gives a different perspective, because the other students in the class are just really happy with what the teacher is saying or the lecturer is saying. So this is really encouraging for us, because that's exactly who we want you to be. And they are students doing great things, and they are students thinking about what next. And they're not taking the easy options, and they're not taking the road that everybody else is traveling. So I do encourage you to wear that thinking hat on as you go forward. If you learn to recognize extraordinary moments, you will have extraordinary lives. If you're constantly focusing on waiting for that one big opportunity to be living an extraordinary life, you might just miss out on the special moments that happen literally every minute. The challenge as we all go forward is to strive constantly to be a better version of ourselves. But that requires effort. It also requires us to hold ourselves to the highest standards while we develop the capacity to be more understanding of the limitations and constraints of others around us. And that's really difficult to do, because when you hold yourself to the highest standards, the tendency is to hold others to those standards also, and then sit in judgment on them. Be kind to yourself as you show kindness to those around you. Above all, do not give in to mediocrity, and do not lose your ability or your capacity to dream, and retain a certain idealism about the kinds of community you wish to construct around you. Class of 2019, congratulations.
We would now like to invite our special guest, Zahina Rashid, to take the stage. After graduating from UWC, Ms. Rashid took a gap year where she worked with an organization that tracked illegal government detentions and helped youth political movements against the authoritarianism in her country. During and after her education at Middlebury College, she continued her campaign as a journalist, eventually serving as the editor of the Maldives Independent, a news organization that was dedicated to offering unbiased news. After the political assassination of her colleague in 2017, Zahina has been in exile from the Maldives, working for Al Jazeera News in Doha. We are very grateful to have her here today to share her courageous story of living the UWC mission through her work in speaking out against injustice and oppression.
Thank you, Aditya, for that introduction. It's truly an honor for me to be here. I'm so excited. First of all, I want to say congratulations to the class of 2019. I'm really excited for what lies ahead of you. Just being here brings back memories of 13 years ago when I graduated from UWC. And my friend Anna and I, we dressed up as pirates, complete with striped shirts, sailors' caps, and I had a black eye patch and the words "A Brave New World" on my arm. And Anna carried this massive parrot, a stuffed cloth one that we had borrowed from a teacher's toddler. And we thought the outfit was quite fitting for the occasion because we were going from the safety of Mewquay into the unknown. Just reflecting on my time here, I arrived here yesterday, and it's been such a rush of memories just walking around campus. And one thing that I remember is just I learned how to play at Muki, and so I grew up in a fairly conservative family in the Maldives, and quite a patriarchal one as well. And coming to Muki was, I just, spread my wings in many ways, and from hiking and building rafts from water bottles and going sailing down the Mulshi River, and volunteering in the aftermath of the tsunami in Tamil Nadu and in Pakistan when the earthquake struck in 2005. And it was also at Muki that I learned that my country was a dictatorship. So at 17 years of age, I had known only one president, and Maldivians voted for him in a single candidate referendum. But yet we were told that the Maldives was a democracy, and I totally believed that. I only began to question that when my friends from Cyrus's class in history, they were making a t-shirt called The Great Dictators, and they were looking for Hitler, Stalin, and Indira Gandhi, and they found my president on a website about dictators. And so that was the first thing. And the second thing was at a global affairs discussion about the rise of right-wing political parties in Europe. And I put up my hand and I said, why do you even need political parties for democracy? The Maldives is a democracy, and we don't, we don't have political parties. So for me, my political consciousness started developing at Muki, and that was the first time I began questioning things. So as you can imagine, that particular statement, the whole room went silent, and that was the beginning of many conversations for me about democracy and so on. So when I took a gap year and returned to the Maldives in 2006, partly because of my incredible sense of shame at my own ignorance, I jumped at the chance to get involved in the effort to basically bring down what was then a 27-year-old dictatorship. It was quite a heady time for the Maldives because there had been prison riots and killings, and that had sort of led to a popular revolt against the president, and he was forced to introduce liberal reforms. So we had independent and critical media for the first time in the country. We had political parties for the first time in the country. So I became part of a pro-democracy youth movement, and which we delivered flowers to the police to press for justice for custodial deaths. We gate-crashed the ruling party's events and held up banners calling for the president's resignation. And we organized and attended protests against his rule. And I did all of this while working for the government. So no surprise, I was quickly fired. At the time, my lawyer friends convinced me to sue the government for unfair dismissal. I wasn't the first to lose my job because of my political views. It was a common occurrence at the time, despite the laws guaranteeing freedom of speech and assembly. So my friends felt that we had a good chance of winning because of the political reforms underway at the time, which meant that you could actually sue the government for the first time. So I went ahead, and my parents found out about it in the papers. They were not very pleased, but it did end well. So a month before I left for university in the US, we won the case, and it was the first successful civil rights case in the Maldives. And the following year, the Maldives had its first election where you had multiple candidates on the ballot. And I took a semester off from Middlebury in the US, where I was doing my undergrad, and worked for a local newspaper to cover the elections. It was a historic moment, and I wanted to be there to see it. So in that election, the opposition won, ending 30 years of autocratic rule in the Maldives. And that same month, Barack Obama won the US election. So it was a moment of hope, and I was filled with this sense and a conviction that the world was becoming freer and more just. But that euphoria, unfortunately, did not last. 3 years later, in 2012, just 4 days after I graduated from Middlebury, the Maldives' first democratically elected government was ousted in a coup. And the next 7 years were devastating both for the Maldives and for me on a personal level. The governments that took over power after 2012 rolled back many of the country's democratic gains. And in the ensuing years, nearly every opposition leader was jailed or forced into exile, protests were banned, hundreds were arrested for demonstrating against the government, independent and critical newspapers were forced to shut down, and gangs in the capital were employed to carry out attacks against politicians, lawyers, and journalists. And among them was my colleague Ahmed Rilwan, who was disappeared in 2014. He has not been seen since. We fought, and because of our campaign to pressure the government to bring the perpetrators to justice, our office was attacked and a machete was lodged in our door, and I received death threats. And I was also briefly arrested with 19 other journalists for marching against those curbs on press freedom. Then in August 2016, I was forced to leave the Maldives because of a documentary I had worked on for Al Jazeera on exposing government corruption in the Maldives. And on the day that the documentary aired, the police raided my office as part of an investigation into what they called a conspiracy to topple the government. So it was clear I could not go back. Then the next year, in April 2017, a good friend of mine, Yamin Rashid, was stabbed to death in the stairway to his apartment. The police said his attackers believed he was mocking Islam, and that is for advocating against the death penalty, for criticizing religious clerics' oppression of women and children, for making fun of politicians and religious clerics who preached racism, anti-Semitism, xenophobia, and violence against women. I was in Doha at the time, and I had just started working for Al Jazeera English. And unable to return home, unable to grieve for my friend, and cut off from family and friends, and all that, and my job, which had given me a huge sense of purpose and meaning in life, I was completely overwhelmed by a sense of futility and despair. And for the first time in my life, I mean, after Muki, I guess, I questioned my ability to effect change. All I could see was the world suffering. And that summer that was 2017, was particularly horrible. That was when Iraqi forces backed by a US-led coalition fought to regain control of Mosul from the Islamic State. Thousands died. Nearby in war-wrecked Yemen, 8 million people were also on the verge of starvation. In South Asia, powerful storms triggered by climate change it killed hundreds and destroyed thousands of homes. And in the Asia Pacific, China was imprisoning more than 1 million Uyghur Muslims in internment camps. And Myanmar expelled nearly 700,000 Rohingya from Rakhine State in a campaign the UN said bore the hallmarks of genocide. I felt completely powerless by the realization that that the arc of human history does not bend towards justice, and that the universe may very well be indifferent to my suffering and our suffering as a species as whole. So I turned to books, therapy, and long conversations about the nature of existence with friends and with family and friends, some of whom I actually went to UWC with at Muki more than a decade ago. And as I worked through my grief, one thing became evident to me. War, poverty, climate change are human-caused tragedies, just as medical breakthroughs like vaccines and birth control, advances in technology like space travel and gene editing, and political systems like democracy and laws that forbid torture, discrimination based on race, gender, and religion. These are all human accomplishments, feats that seemed impossible just a century ago. I realized there is no predetermined bend to the arc of human history, and despite all of the suffering in the world, it is still less violent than it was a century ago. Less and less people are living in abject poverty, and despite the rise of exclusionary politics across the world, it is safer to be a woman, to be gay, or to be an atheist than at most points in history. So we must aim for the impossible, for what is more meaningful than a life lived in the pursuit of the seemingly impossible. And there is no one better suited for these tasks of imagining this future than you all. And that's because of the privilege of your education and your exposure to the world. I'm told that more than 90% of you are going to university in the fall, and much of your higher education will groom you for jobs in think tanks, international banks, global development agencies, academia, to be essentially part of the global elite. And many of you are perhaps already aspiring for that future. But no matter what path you choose, it is my hope that you will ask yourself where it is that you will have the most impact, and where it is that your voice, your skills can have the most, can help the most disadvantaged people. And I hope in this path that you choose to challenge yourselves and to do what is difficult, not what is easy. A freer and more just world is not guaranteed, but it is possible. And what matters most is not perhaps its attainment, but the continuous struggle towards it. Thank you.
Is that working? Yeah. Thank you so much, Tahina. That was really inspirational. Please accept this small gift of appreciation from us. I would like to invite on stage Nabih and Aska, who are the first year and second year from the Maldives. We now want to take a moment to recognize some important members of our community who are leaving us after more than a decade of service. Please, can I invite Soraya to speak about those incredible people?
So this is a time of celebration for us at MUCI usually. It is also a time of sadness because it winds up the academic year, and we find ourselves often having to say goodbye to people who are very dear to us. We will have a separate function for faculty who are leaving, but there are two people in particular whose names I'd like to share with you today. Unfortunately, one of these people has not been able to join us. And the person I'm referring to, I will still pay tribute to her, is Harsha Joshi, who has been heading Akshara for the last 14 years and has stepped down this year. Many of you will have read on our website, many of our students choose MUCI because of Akshara. Akshara is an important part of MUCI. It has been functioning as a sort of organization which people think are separate to us, but the Akshara team are very much part of our lives here. And Akshara has been an initiative which has been instrumental in having social impact in the rural area, the local region. And I would just like to really say a big thank you to Harsha and her team, but specifically to Harsha because of the energy that she has shown and the enthusiasm and the passion that over the last 14 years she has really plowed into into Akshara itself and the work that Akshara does in education and in social impact generally. So please, despite her absence, can we give her a round of applause? And if you're watching, Harsha, we miss you, and I hope that we'll be able to see you before school closes. The second person that I would like to talk about briefly is Sharda Vakil. Sharda has been with Mukhi, in Mukhi, has been part of Mukhi for now over 20 years. Come on. And it is with a great deal of sadness that we are forced to say goodbye to her at the end of this year. I think that many of our students and alumni will remember her as their chemistry teacher, but I think she's also the person with the camera who goes around and actually she's the person who actually ensures that we don't take this campus for granted. The way she spots all the wildlife, the birds in particular, and how she shares the pictures of the things which clearly she is passionate about, have made her a very special member of our community, and we will dearly miss her. I am hoping that because she's going to be in Mumbai, that we are still going to keep seeing her. And I would like, on behalf of the college, to recognize everything that she has done to make this college what it is, especially in terms of physically the landscape. There were no trees here, right, Sharda, when you first came over 20 years ago? So she was instrumental in actually putting together the landscaping, where the trees went, where the plantation went, and we have her to thank in a really huge amount for what we have today.
You know I don't speak a lot, other than chemistry. But it's been a really nice and enjoyable journey, especially seeing the campus, the flora and the fauna grow, and every 2 years seeing new faces, smiling, and I'm going to miss the place. And I'll see you back in 10 years, right? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Moving on to our second performance, we're now going to have a Kathak performance, which is an Indian classical dance form that comes from northern India and is a major art form in Bangladesh as well. The term Kathak means story, and Kathakar, which means the one who tells the story. Lamia from Bangladesh is going to present to you a piece of this amazing form of art.
Thank you, Lamia, for such an amazing performance. Finally, we have the part that the second years have been waiting for. After all the first blocks and the college apps and the IAs, you guys are finally getting your diploma! Woo!
So the diplomas will be handed out soon by none other than our beloved WADA parents. Miyuki WADAs are the units of our residential communities. Our WADA parents are the people who make us feel as safe as possible and support us in our WADAs, build community, and offer their advice to us while we're living so far away from home. This year, they also ensured that we'd get our 8 hours of healthy sleep during Casey's sleep challenge. Nice try.
So to begin, can we please have WADA 1's Papa de WADA, Comrade Matthew, woo! And the UK, woo!
Good afternoon, everybody. So I'm honoured to introduce to you the WADA 1 graduating batch, but before I do, I would like to honour the huge efforts of those without whom the students would not have survived the past 2 years. Thank you very, very much, my WADA 1 friends and colleagues, Paula, Ainoa, Liberté, and Nick. So this graduating batch is one of differences. We have among the students athletes. Fun fact about WADA 1, we have the highest number of marathon runners of any boarding house in India, according to the t-shirts, of course. We have artists, we have actors, film directors, dancers, satirical writers. We have basketballers, we have frisbee players, we have swimmers, and we have frogs. We have graduation MCs. We have pasta chefs. We have check-in dodgers. We have early morning Wilco hikers. We also have champions of female representation, empowerment, and health. We have anti-racism campaigners. We have indigenous language revivalists, and more. But with all their differences, one thing has united us all in WADA 1, our mutual veneration and respect for UWC founder, Kurt Hahn. Oh, Kurt Hahn, we would like to thank you for bringing us together for 2 wonderful years. Hahn. WADA 1 Mewkey graduates of 2019, a great person once said, "At the risk of sounding ridiculous, let me say that the true revolutionary is guided by a great feeling of love." I don't know what your revolutions will be, but whatever they are, please always remember the values of respect and support for each other that we lived our lives by for 2 years in the WADA 1 community. I'm going to miss you all, my first children as Papa de WADA. Thank you for 2 very fun and extraordinary years. Y quiero también agradecerle a Karma. Congratulations to all of you for making it here despite the challenges and because of your resilience. Vamos, WADA 1! Now I'd like to invite you all to collect your diplomas, one by one, please. You guys ready? We're ready. Ready? Okay, Asif. Akshita. Aldo. Alex. Baran. Yuri. Irene. Karma. Kennedy. Kevin. Kushi. Kush. Leandro. Lilith. Lily. Mariana. Marie. Azka. Nafisa. Neil. Ryoji. Sanya. Sarah. Shuvecha. Stands in. Tekla. Tinley. Tasha. Victoria. And William. Vamos! A remarkable group of people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matthew. So from WADA 2, can we have Aparna from Pune, our Head of Students Life and Teacher of Psychology?
Okay, never mind. Hello, children. Okay. Last day of summer, last page of a great book, last cup of coffee, and scraping the last bits of Maggie that are still stuck to the pan. Endings are inevitable. Leaves fall, you close the book, you say goodbye. Today we say goodbye to everything that was familiar, everything that was comfortable, be it Suvansha's jokes, Ali's dance, Namira's Hindi, or Luis's tortilla. So, as you graduate today, follow your passion, stay true to yourself, and follow your own path. Well, unless you're lost in the woods and you have to follow someone else's path, then by all means, follow someone else's path. But, batch of 17, 19, you made it. You got lost a bit on the way, but you made it. Please come up on stage as I call out your name. Ahan. You don't want to. Ahmad. Akop. Ali. Gaurav. Isabel. Yana. Karen. Kip. Srujana. Luana. Luis. Mary. Miha. Nadine. Namira. Quinn. Suvansh. Tariq. Yife. I do want to thank all the faculty in WADA too for their support for a successful year. And finally, who are we? Who are we?
Thanks, Aparna. Can we please have WADA 3's Papa Bear and Mama Bear, David and Catherine, please come to the stage.
Okay. WADA 3, do we actually have a chant? No? Okay, we're not going to mention the chant then. Too late. We can honestly say that there have been moments this year when we've enjoyed being WADA parents. To all of you in WADA 3.
Is that?
You can't hear.
Is that moments as in more than one?
Yeah, oh yeah. Hang on, let me just change that. Okay. So there was a moment this year when we enjoyed being WADA parents to all of you. Okay?
Wait, does that mean all?
Sorry. Most of you. So, hang on.
Wait.
There was one moment when at least one of us enjoyed being a WADA parent to most of you.
But was that actually a majority?
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
yeah.
Anyway, the point is that we met you all when you were halfway through your Muki time, and we soon discovered that what everyone told us about WADA 3 was true.
And that is...
You really are an amazing bunch. Talented, funny, articulate, smart, cool. You just need to work on your dishwashing, waking up, and you'll be perfect.
Is that it?
You've got to read that line. Read
Oh,
the line
yeah.
at the bottom.
This is the good bit, okay? So we do wish you well. We do hope that you get everything that you like and you want, but we also hope that you get everything that you deserve. And with that, we'd like you to invite you up to get your diplomas.
Which you deserve.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot that bit, yeah. Okay.
Can we welcome Mamnun? Should we do this all?
And Adel. Tick them off if you want.
Yeah. Annemein? Wish you so well. Devansh?
Gabrielle.
Farouj.
Jasmine.
Jessica. Josephine.
Okay. Do I get a hug? Kalpa.
Later.
I'm actually begging for a hug.
Carolina. It's quite straight,
Lucrezia. Madvi.
Matteo.
Matteo, sorry.
Nevnoma.
Parag.
Patrick.
Shoes, Patrick, shoes.
Ayumikun. Rianne.
Sejal.
Read the next one.
Oh yeah, Shaukat.
Shaukat. Stands in.
Thank you, David. Thank you.
Okay.
Oops, sorry. Vani.
Vanshika.
Varun.
Okay. And you how? You do it. Okay. See you later.
The other members of WADA 3 that we need to say a huge thank you to: Abhishek, Kritika,
Maria.
Alex.
And also Manu, who might be watching. Manu, remember Manu?
Sweeney.
Manu Sweeney. Thank you.
That's not working. That's working. Thank you, David and Kath. Now, I would like to invite the WADA parent of WADA 4, the heart of all Muki, Mina's mother, Casey.
Hello. So, first I would love to get a shout out to all of the WADA 4 faculty. We are blessed with an abundance of adults in WADA 4, which is why I think we are so quiet. So students, if you could give a shout out to Zinat. I love her too. Chaya. Eli, Maria, and Sidesh. Oh WADA 4. We have had a remarkably quiet year, which is a bit different than last year. Hardly a night went by when one of you didn't accompany me for check-in, which I really appreciate. Or the wafts of home-cooked food from around the world was dancing through the air. We seem to have a remarkable amount of good chefs, both on the faculty side and student side in WADA 4. From sheets turned into togas, and dogs rescued and fed, to late-night philosophical conversations and hot chocolate shared with friends. Thank you truly for looking out for one another, and thank you for making my job both a pleasure and easeful. So from one Muki heart to another, congratulations and thank you. It's my honor to call you up here to receive your diploma. Abba. Bente. Chidi. Gabriela. Maria. Mohammed. Ningzi. Pratiksha. Raquel. Rohan. Samya. Sachit. Shivika. Shunsuke. Sigrid. Snigdha. Sue. And last but not least, Uliana. WADA 4, it has been an honor. Thank you.
And now can we have Madame Beatrice of Kenya on the stage, please, for WADA 5. Woo!
Good afternoon. I'm here to represent Obama. You know he comes from Kenya. Okay, that was just on a light note. I want to thank the WADA faculty members, starting with Zander, because he really keeps the WADA lively. Thank you, Rob and Zoe, for letting us enjoy Zander. Thank you, Manish, Hina, Chetali, and Big C, for just being such warm people. Thank you very much. Of course, finally, I just want to say thank you to Shada. I don't know how we are going to live without Shada. And Cyrus, and Varun, and Mausi. Now, I'll just mention I'll just say something very little, and I want you to tell me later on during check-in whom those words stand for. Among the second years, there's somebody who is really lovely. There's somebody who is very time conscious. There's somebody who is very sensitive. Another one who protects the rest of the WADA members. Another one who is a linguist. We have someone who brings sunshine into the WADA. We have somebody who is very articulate. We have a lady in WADA 5. We have somebody who is fierce. We have somebody who is motherly. We have someone who is the voice of reason. We have someone who is perpetually serious. We have someone who is focused. We have a basketball player. We have someone who is reserved. And we have someone who is quiet but is always holding the others up. During check-in, if you tell me who these are, I promise you I'll give you something nice from Kenya. Okay. Now, you know the last is always the best. Don't we all know that? That is why WADA 5 is last. You know, when the rest of the WADAs are sitting, WADA 5 stands. When the rest are standing, we become outstanding. When the others become outstanding, we become the standard of measure. That is WADA 5. And graduates, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of WADA 5. I'll miss you, but we'll keep in touch. I want to congratulate you I welcome you to come and receive your diplomas. Anhad. Anusha. Anav. Bella. Kiego. Lena. Mehek. Mansha. Pia. Pratik. Sana. Shruti. Tomsi. Omaima. And finally, Yoon. Okay. I just want to say thank you very much, especially to the WADA 5 members. I joined the school pretty late, but they were very welcoming. And now when we release the second years, it's almost like a mother whose son or daughter is leaving the home forever. It's painful, but you have to let them go because you want them to grow up. So thank you very much, WADA 5. Thank you, the rest of the graduates.
All right. Congratulations to everyone. Really happy for you. All right. I would like to invite our head of experiential learning, Anmol Tiko, to talk about our project-based certificate program and the students who earn their stripes through these really ambitious independence projects.
It's my honor to introduce the Project-Based Learning Certificate program, or PBC as we call it, and its 2019 graduates. PBC is one of the many ways in which MUKI students go beyond the IB diploma. This program sees select students combine their individual passions with a commitment to meeting the genuine needs of a community that they are a part of or that they deeply care about. PBC, in short, is UWC Mission Aligned Education in Action. This year's PBC students have sought to address issues as varied as water pollution in our Mula River, gender imbalance in sports on campus, lack of mother tongue awareness and language loss in their home country, and the burdens of paperwork for rural school teachers working in the valleys around us. Today, we recognize 4 second years who have shown the courage and persistence to engage with these critical issues. PBC graduates, I would like to welcome you one by one on stage. Jana Stoot. Marie Fournier. Mariam Aska Hassan. And Sachit Kshatriya. Congratulations, 2019 PBC graduates. It's been a pleasure for us to learn from you. You're a true inspiration of how we can all follow our passions. Thank you very, very much.
As you know, a cornerstone of MUKI's experiential learning program is our Triveni on and off campus service learning projects. I would like to call Ashwin, who heads our service learning program, to come to talk to us about our students' efforts in our communities and beyond.
Thank you, Aditya. So here is a final reminder from the Triveni office to the class of 2019. Okay? Please listen carefully. We would just like to remind you that the diploma which you have received today is not just for your academic excellence, but equally for your creativity, activity, and service. And we should never forget that. For the parents who've traveled from far and wide, I would just like to give a very brief introduction specifically of our service program, which your wards have been actively taking part in. We are blessed with a beautiful valley surrounding us, and there's everything which you can practically think of when you think of rural India. There are farmers, there are women, there are girls, there are people with different abilities, there are destitute women, there are disabled children. There's pretty much everything any society all over the world would essentially have. And I'm proud to say, as the coordinator of service program at MUKI, that our students have done exemplary work in their service portfolios. I would also take a moment to acknowledge some of our community partners who make this service learning possible for our students. I would like to thank Akshara and its entire staff. I would also like to thank Sadhana Village, and especially Medatai. I would like to thank the principals of the primary schools in Kule and Asde. I would also like to thank the principal of the vocational college in Karmori. All of these people have been extremely kind with their time and effort to make service learning possible for our students. And lastly, just as an example of what MUKI students and the Sodexo staff have done together, we have a service project called the Night School, which happens here on campus. And we are proud to give certificates of accomplishment to 4 Sodexo staff who have excelled in spoken English while their time with the Night School. I would like to call Can I please call Siddhant? Siddhant is from Kolhapur, and he did a brilliant job of comparing the Triveni Mela, all in English. Can I invite Pradeep, please? Rukmal from Assam. And finally, Anjan from West Bengal. Thank you so much, and may you always serve others before yourself.
It's too high. Well, let's have a huge round of applause to all the graduates of this year. Today, the second years are leaving us, and although we are quite sad that you are leaving, we are also really excited for the next phase of your journey into the world.
You played significant roles in shaping our first year here at MUKI. You have supported us, offered us advice, given us your shoulders to cry on, and led us through different Trivenis. We will miss the many deep conversations that we had and the many awesome times that we spent together. From helping us with our test preparations to mending our hearts following a breakup. You have always been here for us. But following this day, we shall no longer be your responsibility. Congratulations!
Woo! Now the second year batch has selected 3 representatives to deliver this year's graduation speech. Woo! Could we please have Tekla from Denmark, who's the wise facilitator of college meeting, Chidi from Canada, who is the coordinator of the national competition winning robotics team, and finally Suvansh from New Delhi, who's run all the exciting events for Community Fund.
Okay. Okay.
Test. See if people can hear you.
Mic test 1, 2, 3.
You good? You good?
Okay. Many, many years ago, in a faraway mystical land, an eccentric bunch of chefs and cooks had the genius idea of making the most magnificent, the most splendid, the most excellent dish ever. To achieve this task, this group of chefs decided to import an eclectic, wacky, and diverse group of ingredients from all around the world into their little kitchen pot on top of a hill all the way in India. Ingredients of all sorts, shapes, sizes, smells, and ideologies arrived into this little kitchen pot. We invite you all to think back, you second years, think back to this very arrival, to your arrival, and think back to how immediately it hits you, the people, the ingredients. One was struggling to carry a ridiculous amount of suitcases into their room, whereas another was already set up and felt like home. Some looked like you, some didn't. Some talked like you, some didn't. Some were sweet, salty, spicy, and some were just simply nuts. Wave after wave of these ingredients rolling towards you, and then around you, one after the other, and then all at once in a giant fleeting chaos. You had arrived. You had arrived and you had found yourself in the midst of this chaos, in this muddle, or a mystery, perhaps. There was only one thing tying you together with all the other ingredients: the cleansing ritual of this new kitchen you inhabited, the showers of the never-ending great Indian monsoon. And in these showers, you slowly started to mix in with the other ingredients. Soon, you started to figure out which combinations between ingredients work, which ones you wanted to work, and which ones, alas, simply don't work. As time went on, these showers exposed your shells and forced you to be a little more vulnerable with these strange foreign ingredients around you. And with this familiarity, the chaos set in again. I'm talking about the chaos of change. We changed clothes, changed appearances, changed haircuts, changed our habits, changed the way we speak, the way we think, the way we want to speak, the way we want to think. We changed our ambitions, our grand plan for life. We changed our languages, our very identities. And at the end of this grand cycle of change, somehow, somewhere, we woke up and found ourselves settled. We settled into our roles as roommates, as family in our advisor groups, as fierce and loyal supporters of our WADA and Muki Olympics. We settled into ambitious and perhaps efficient change makers in the CA. The point is, we settled into a somewhat comfortable rhythm. We started to mix well with some ingredients. Our true selves were a little more apparent and expressive, and the pot was simmering on low to medium heat. As you may have guessed, this kitchen, as magical as it can be, is cruelly unpredictable and ever-changing. We moved from timid first years to not so timid first years as the year wore on, and soon enough, we were the drivers of conversation. We were the facilitators, the CA secretaries, the PSG members, the Triveni coordinators, the helping hands. We were the second years. And then we were suddenly forced to confront the fact that we are to host 120 new ingredients waiting at the horizon to join us. We had to introduce them to all the different tools in the kitchen that would exert influences on them. We had to show them the way from the WADAs to the MPH. We had to help them transition from not understanding English at all to today even understanding Rob. We had to help them to transition from homesickness to truly finding a second home at Muki. Basically, the responsibility of making the dish delicious was in our hands, these ingredients. The point is, each ingredient never just played a simple, static role. We were all a part of this cascading mess. We continuously shifted roles and identities in a search of becoming the best versions of ourselves. And I'd like to think that this continuous shifting of our roles and identities, like me, I hope it has for you also, added richness to this Muki experience of yours.
If Muki were a dish, it would be spicy and served hot. Its ingredients, us students, are incredibly passionate. Everyone has a lot to contribute to the flavor: paprika, chili, jalapeno. The incredible amount of dedication and passion that each of you have shared with me and with all of us has been a major source of motivation and inspiration that I will never forget. Whether your passion is biodiversity and photography, medicine, dance, mathematics, graphic design and film, guitar, doing research on laptop, writing books, programming and artificial intelligence, comedy and playwriting, football and Clash Royale. You guys are all in whatever you set your minds to. I am honored and humbled to call myself one of your peers. With so many distinct, strong flavors, you'd expect a perfect meal, a perfect dish. However, with all this passion and diversity also came many strong, conflicting flavors. Yes, some ingredients are incredibly sweet, but others are very, very salty. Does anyone from our batch remember our first conflict? It was our first batch meeting in the social center when we were trying to pick how many MCs to have for our first year show. I think we settled on 7 or 8. Over the years, points of conflict have included the Rohingya crisis, race, gender quotas, meat consumption, the IT policy, and many, many memes. Maybe these conflicting flavors leave a bad taste in your mouth just thinking of them. I've had to learn the hard way that once you add paprika to the soup, it's incredibly difficult to take it out, and it can't always be masked with sugar. However, as we have spent more time in the kitchen, we've learned how to manage the chaos. We have had 4 burners going and have been baking at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 years. But this no longer phases us. Over these 2 years, I, and I'm sure many of you, have had to reevaluate a lot of our beliefs. I used to hate coriander, until suddenly I saw it in a whole new light when I found out it was just cilantro. We can't change many of our differences, our different flavors, or ban cilantro from rambling on and on in college meetings. But we have all become more comfortable with the conflict, at least in the slightest. I stopped seeing a hot, spicy debate as a failure of communication, but a new taste, a new experience that I never had before, no matter how bitter. Muki just wouldn't taste as good without its flavor, or if we all tasted the same, like we were just a glass of milk. Drinking it day in and day out would get boring, no matter how easy it goes down. Of course, there are flavors that are simply toxic, like I'm allergic to peanuts, but through much of my discomfort, I, for one, learned a lot, and some of the crazy flavors even started to grow on me. So with that, I've come to learn that Muki is definitely an acquired taste, but it can be delicious if you give it enough tries.
And exactly to acquire this taste, we put ourselves out there again and again, even with the bitter taste left over from the last bite, trusting that we would eventually become accustomed. This persistence is an accomplishment that I feel proud of. An accomplishment I think we should all feel proud of. It was not easy, and it was not meant to be easy. As a result, it has equipped us to go forward and engage in difficult conversations with openness to new perspectives and appreciation of this diversity. As ingredients in this madness of an experimental kitchen, we would not have transformed without the chefs, without the tools, and our co-ingredients that were part of our pie. The faculty that commit years of their lives to our isolated community, which is dominated by puberal youngsters who constantly question and critique. It's impressive you actually choose to come here. Our ambitious second years, I know some of you might be watching, our ambitious second years who invested intention, effort, and love in molding us, and our trusting first years who engaged wholeheartedly in our experimentation with taking responsibility and trying to deal with power. We want to express deep gratitude to you for sharing generously of yourself and for shaping us in the process. Eventually, I realized that perhaps the aim of the chefs was not to create one unity, one harmonized unity, but rather to force us to acknowledge our differences and appreciate these differences, and develop a belief that even with such odd and different, exquisite and intense ingredients, a pie can actually be put together. I think they hoped that we would develop trust. Trust in ourselves, trust that each one of us can actually hold our own taste. But more importantly, trust in each other, and that the bonds we have created will be strong enough to hold us when we leave this kitchen, ready to be served in the restaurant of reality. And now, here we are. The last few seconds before the timer rings, before we open the oven and the hot air steams out into the kitchen. 2 years and a pie later. We bear the resilience of managing 2 chaotic years, the confidence to hold several different identities, and the ability to find comfort in diversity, value in conflict, and trust in ourselves and each other. Hopefully, when heading back to less mad kitchens with this baggage, we'll be able to spice up whatever soup we might end in, whether it's a dull Canadian cheese cream soup or a spicy and intense tom yum. Thank you.
Thank you so much for such a delicious, spicy, and heart-touching speeches, Chidi, Tekla, and Suvansh. The next academic year will be very different without you. Graduating batch of 2019, you will be missed.
Now, we will be having one fiery performance by Ananya, Varun, Matteo, Devansh, Sachet, and Shivika. It might take them... Yeah, you can. It might take them a few moments to set up. So, yeah, just you can talk to the person next to you and, you know. Can we please ask our guests in the stage to just join the audience so you can also...
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I will also like to use this moment to thank the support staff. They have made our beds, cleaned our rooms, and cooked our food for us. We are really grateful for everything that they've done for us. This event would not be possible without them. Let's have a big round of applause for them. We would also like to thank all the parents present here. Thank you for supporting our new graduates through the Amyuki journey. I can imagine how hard it can be to send your children, sometimes halfway across the world, all alone, and not knowing what is going to happen to them. But you too have survived these 2 years. Let's have a big round of applause for the parents and also everyone else who's present here who made today possible.
Yours is that one, right? The yellowish gold one. Yeah.
Okay, we'll be ready to start in 1 minute, so you can just wait in the room, please.
Hello, check.
सुनो एक रेगुलर आम केबल है मिस ट्यून करना जल्दी से Mine say, I don't know. It's fine, ठीक है. It's following the album.
Hola, hola. Okay, so, well, thank you everyone for being here. I wanted to give a special thank and dedicate this song to Adelaide and Fabrice, as well as all the people here in the MPH and people that are watching back home. Everyone who wants to support us here and clap in the song, they're welcome. We really hope you enjoy it. And yes, a special hello to Barbara, who's watching as well. Yeah, thank you. Start. I look at you, oh, see the love there that's slipping. Still my guitar gently weeps. I look at the floor and I see in its sweeping. Still my guitar gently weeps. I don't know how, nobody told you how to unfold your love. I don't know how someone controlled you. They brought and sold your love. At the world and I notice it's turning. Still my guitar gently weeps. With every mistake we must surely be learning. Still my guitar gently weeps. listening. Still my guitar gently weeps. With every mistake, we must surely be learning. Still my guitar gently weeps. Still my guitar gently weeps. Thank you.
And finally, as we draw to, oh wait, sorry. That was an amazing performance, guys. It was awesome. It was incredible. And finally, as we draw towards the end of our ceremony, we would like to wish our second years all the best for the next phase of their lives. As the upcoming second year batch, we hope that we can live up to the high benchmark that you guys have set for us. Congratulating on graduating Muki class of 2019. Woo!
Can I please request everyone to make their way towards the MPH loan, where we will be taking the photographs. Thank you for everyone, and see you later. Okay, let's go. She's gonna talk.
All our guests who are here with our graduating students, please join us for dinner at the head of college's residence at 6:30 p.m. First years, you will have dinner in the cafeteria, but then you can join us later.